My partner's put the heating on. It's absolutely boiling all of a sudden, so I'm going to open the window. So I apologise for any outdoor noises. I know most of you watching don't want to hear birds tweeting or anything like that. That's terrible. Get the outside out and keep it out. We're poker players. We like the indoors indoors and we like the outdoors outdoors. We've just opened it to get a breeze in because it's boiling all of a sudden. We went check check and we turned a king. I think calling makes a lot of sense. He checks most numbers. Oi, are we bluff catching here? I don't know. I don't know what he's got that he doesn't bet flop. We know he's a bit weird with his check the top pair. 3/4 bet on the turn. I don't have it in me to fold this. Yeah, sucks. I wasn't happy, but what are you going to do? All right, 7 in a row. Can we win one of our hands? Is the question, ladies and gentlemen. I think not. I think we're just going to lose every hand, lose every game. We could have definitely bet the flop before, but we had such a good hand that we really don't want to get check raised, and we know he's capable of check raising some top pair. Checking some top pair in some other kind of weird spots where you'd expect just to range bet with the hand. And so to see, I think with the king's this, we're really incentivized to go check and realize their equity. Turn top pair, you think, well, that's good. Check call, and then the river's like, yeah, I don't know. Anyone fold that river? I don't know. We'll go for a half pot here. Quick call. Big half pot again. Seems pretty sensible at this SPR. Obviously pretty happy to get in on this point. We know he's got some traps. If he's got a flush or something, it's fine. But we also don't mind incentivizing, let's say, a hand like 10-9 or something with a heart, or 10-8 with a heart. We don't want that to fold, obviously. But we're fairly incentivized to, yeah. What's the record number of losses in a row? Was it 9? We can beat it. Yes, we can, ladies and gentlemen, today. And the boy Nick has just subscribed. Good luck, Tommy. Come on, you irons. Yes, indeed. Well done, Nick. Well done. All right, we got a check, and then a 3/4 bet on the turn. Check call from our big blind. Easy life here, representing an ace. Goes for a very quick jam. Ace queen really repping. Ace 9 can't really have. Could have ace 6, ace 4 maybe. Numbers is thinking about it. Uses the cool king queen. We're interested to see ace 8 there, by the way. Like, I'm surprised. I would have been careful, but fair enough. It certainly suggests a degree of viewed his opponent maybe as fairly stationary, because I mean it is reasonable for your opponent to have a fair amount of decent hands in that spot. If you take ace 8, you assume you take ace 10, ace jack, ace king, and obviously every 2 pair then as well. We get ISO 3x, we get c-bet quarter. I'm going to call 1, I think, although it's definitely foldable. But we know we're hitting a 9, so... Now, problems begin. Maybe it was foldable. Quick jam with his aces or his kings. What do you think it is, ladies and gentlemen? Aces or kings? And are we ever winning here? Would you ever do this with like a 10-4? I do think this would be a range c-bet board, so all the bluffs, and then it's just a question of like which bluffs we get here. There are still some bluffs, I suppose, and we are beating some values, so that's the value we beat. I think for me, I think it might be a little bit thin. When I'm tanking with Queen 9, right? I don't have a ton of hands there, which I'm thrilled to get in. We know they went super wide, not wide, but like standard ace, bam, pot. So I don't think this is an ace. I'm going to check raise. No, should I check call? I'm going to check raise. I think this is a 9. Can we get value from a 9? Probably not. I think we'll check. Yeah, so I think Southampton, depends a little bit which Southampton turns up. Depends a little bit which Bournemouth turns up, of course, as well. Yeah, we are going to fold now, though. So 9x of spades is totally reasonable. Queen x of spades totally reasonable. Jack x of spades totally reasonable. Yes, we have a 10x, but 10x of spades isn't that relevant because don't unblock it. Could he be bluffing with other hands? He has called a raise, so kind of tough to have air, so I would fold. But I'm fairly confident we have the best hand on the turn. I'm fairly confident we have the worst hand on the river. Park. We are going for, by the way, for the record loss. We can only afford to lose one more, and then we have to move down. Just not been a fantastic start. Ty Faranglion says, hi, why'd you play $50 with only 30 buy-ins? Is it for the stream, or you always have an aggressive backroom management? It is for the stream. I do not have aggressive backroom management. I'm super nitty with my backroom management. For the backroom challenge, we thought, let's go super aggressive because it'd be more interesting to try and show guys if you are, please don't, but if you are going to have such an aggressive backroom management, you are going to have to be prepared to move down a lot, which means, for example, anytime we dip below 1,000, we're moving down. So if we lose 2 more games in a row, we're moving down. Now, we've lost 8 in a row so far this session. Not been the best, I'll be honest. All right. We'll try and have a limp. Easy Life chooses to ISO. We'll go for a call. Flop and top pair is always nice. Yeah, king. Would expect him to see bet most of his bluffs here. He does choose to, with the kind of traditional bluff sizing. That would be cool. 10 comes. Quite a good card for our range, to be honest. So we have a decent amount of 10x. We have some Jack Queen. We're not going to fold too much of our Jack 10, 10 8 on the turn, and we have limited amounts of King X. Interesting sizing chooses here. So he goes for the small sizing. Now he did use this sizing with a 2 pair, if anyone remembers, when we had Queen 10. So we're going to call again. Could be a kind of situation. Don't think 9x is pretty much eliminated from his range, and so that's kind of interesting for us. We could choose to block here. I think that's kind of cool. I think the block bet allows us to get value from a hand like jacks or queens, and also does allow us to maybe get some value from even a 10x, and freezes the action a little bit when he's got us beat. In theory, he shoves here, which is bizarre because we're just repping a 9x like very, very comfortably. Jack 9, Queen 9, and so he's now saying he's got 10s or kings. Or Queen Jack, which are all reasonable. I mean, he did use his value sizing on the turn, right? That we saw before. And then this quick bluff here. Oh, that would be a hell of a move. I'm going to fold. I don't think that's a bluff. It's sad sometimes because it feels like we just have to keep folding. And we could be getting run over. But I do think that was just value. Fun fact, Easy Life has been looking for... is being looked for on 2+2. He owes money to his backers and he owes money to Steel Phoenix. Okay. I was unaware of that. I guess we're rooting for non-heart then. Or maybe we're rooting for the poker community to get paid by having him win. I'm not sure. Alright. Dubbing for says, if I submit an application to Teams 1 and get rejected, would that limit my chance of being accepted at a future date? I don't think so at all. If anything, I think it probably increases it. You know what I mean? I'm not that clue. I mean, I've looked a little bit at the application process, and as far as I'm aware, a lot of the guys, if they are rejected, are typically, especially if you do a nice. I mean, some guys obviously, some of the applications are just terrible, right? They're just bad applications, and the guy like, send me money, please, and you're like, it's not really going to work. But if you do a nice application, hey, my name's Double Me from Sky. I've been watching 261 on Twitch. Texas Tomo, big fan. Right, no, don't write that. No chance of getting it accepted if you write that. But this is, I'm working and I was seeing what the opportunities, maybe for some part-time or something like that. This is what I play, here's my results, this is what I've got to work on, etc, etc. And even if you're rejected, or not now, baby, typically it will be done with, oh, hey, we're not currently accepting whatever this at the moment, but, come back to us in when you have completed this or something. So a lot of people, for example, will try and apply to 651 when they're playing 25 cents, and they're typically not accepted because you're playing 25-cent games, right? So they'll say, oh, no, we'll come back to us when you're playing 5s or 10s or something like that. But yeah, I really do encourage guys just to, if you're unsure, just make an application and see, because it's a free roll. And it just makes sense to have a look and see what's on offer. There you go. Nikki says, maybe I can, it would have been fun to go to, maybe I can try and get us to a World Series of Poker final table. It would be amazing, Nikki. It would be amazing. We'd love to see that. Poker SXM says, let's go. Let's go, Poker SXM. Thank you very much, mate. We're going to jam the Queen Chuck. The boy Nicky is playing the World Series of Poker this summer, so look out for him on the final table. What is 3% of 10 million? Asking for a friend. Often an over limp stab board, although Easy Life doesn't seem to be massively over limp stabbing his air at this point. They'll go for a check here. He's quite aggressive with the delays, it seems so far. But he has definitely got an interesting mix of sizings on the turn here. So he's been using some pot sizes, been using some min bet sizes. We're just folding our 5-2. We'll call the Queen 3, 5.4. Wish us luck as we hit a Queen or a 3. Queen or a 3. Damn. Right, we get one more attempt, ladies and gentlemen, to try and win a spin. And then we have to move down. Sometimes things don't go in your favour, but that's okay. You then just move down. We take a very detached, we don't get to. I think it's an important part of poker is to try and be emotionally resilient to the swings that it will inevitably bring, and that includes with your bankroll management. So often, when you have the bankroll that requires you to move down and move up, it can be extra demoralizing or motivating because it feels like somehow you're progressing or being pulled away from some sort of grand dream that you have in poker, right? I'm going to be this high stakes amazing guy, I live in Vegas, but actually it's important to recognize that like all poker comes with a bunch of variants where it's really difficult, right? And it's quite important to, I think, be aware of that. We're going to go for 1.5. It will be called quite wide, quite frequently. And a king comes. We'll go for another bet. It will be called quite wide and quite frequently. But I'm pretty happy. I think half pot would be great. Let's hit a 10. 9 is a disaster. We'll check, and it's one of the worst cards we could have faced on the river. So I feel like against Easy we've had a lot of opportunities, but just haven't really picked the river's not been kind to us in some of these spots. King Queen could jam, we could shove or min. I'm going to go for jam, I think. And Spenato85 says, hi, what do you think about real-time assistance? I think it is a problem. I think it is something you need to be wary of, but I think it's something that I think most sites are pretty incentivized to keep the impact of real-time assistant players minimal. And I do think there are lots of tools in place to track that, and so I'm not as concerned. If I was playing on an unregulated site with no real security department, no admin or whatever, I would be worried. But you should be just as worried as what if there was a bunch of really, really reg-heavy players in your field as guys playing with RTAs, because both of those will impact you pretty negatively. And so, funnily enough, if you're in a field and there's loads of RTA players but you're making a bunch of money, it's kind of a weird situation that you find yourself in where you're like, I guess whatever. But yeah, I don't think that's happening. What I think is good is I think most sites are really, really big on their security. Check flop, check turn, 60% river bet. What are they supposed to be bluffing with here? They went min a couple of times before. I don't know if they go Queen X this sizing. What are they trying to get value from? We just hit the river, unfortunately. We're cool. Okay, makes sense, I guess. Bad runs can happen across the board, and it's important to respond to them in the right way. I think often when the difference between regs, if you like, in terms of how well they do long-term poker. It's not necessarily defined by how well they do when they're winning, but it's more defined by how well they do when they're losing. So we can all be pretty good regs when we're getting dealt top pair every time, and we're just, how do we get max value? Cool. Like, it's a lovely, easy when you get ace 10, not as easy when they get ace jack. Easy when you hit a 10. Easy when you hit a 10. Good. I didn't want to change the next half of the sentence. But I think, and it's easy when you get dealt kings, and they shove ace 8. But I think what really separates the regs is what happens when you're losing. And I think the response to how do I deal with it when I'm losing, and it would be analysis, right? You go back, you look at your opponents, you look at your spots, you look at recording, whatever you need to do, and you think, did I misplay some hands? Think about some of the spots and go, did I misplay that? One of the things I'm quite fortunate about on Twitch is that I found historically people are pretty ruthless in their feedback if they notice something they would have done differently. So I think there was like one hand where I missed it, I don't know, some 5.8 BB jam or something, and I got a message, I was 6 BB or something. I got a message from my YouTube guy, and he's like, "Oh Tom, there's a comment on YouTube. I don't know if you want to respond." And someone had noticed in the, on YouTube, they're uploading 3 times a week. And one of the YouTube comments was, "Hey, I think you missed a jam here," and it's just some pre-flop thing. And it was super close, but it does typically, I think, show good flop. That I think the population, or at least you viewers, are quite good in marginal spots to let me know if you would have done something differently, which is a real good asset to have, because then it gives you a bit of encouragement. If it's quiet, that everyone's just like, I wouldn't have done too much different there or whatever, which is something of a reassurance, maybe. 159 Bay says, what do you get if Team 601 affects your application, and how much does it cost? It costs you nothing. No cost at all to apply, no cost at all to be accepted. What do you get? A multitude of things. Staking, EV deals, coaching, group coaching with some of the best in the game, including the boy Nick, Wobble Pig. You get mentor game, including Oscars, Jack sessions, myself doing weekly lectures with Wobble Pig, and then we do a weekly seminar as well. Access to one-on-one coaches, a whole bunch of different communities and strategy groups and stuff like that. I really like it, but I would say that. But 159 Bay, I think they have different. Like, I think there was a promotion in place which was like, if you don't like it after 2 weeks, you can leave for free. And again, when I say free, you don't pay any money to join. It works out because you get staked, and then they split your profits. So if you don't win, Team 601 doesn't make any money. So we, or Team 601, are incentivized to make the Team 601 players as profitable as possible, because it's how Team 601 make the money and the players make the money. Happy days. So we're all pulling in the same direction. When we get our first win, ladies and gentlemen, it would be lovely, because then we don't have to move down, because we can add $150 and we're back in the game-ish. All right, might try a donk here. It's a little bit quirky, but just kind of guy I am. Quirky. Some 4x for our opponents. I will check here. And what I'll do is I'll go for a check, and then we can go for a bet check bet fairly comfortably, represent the 5. I think it's pretty reasonable here to try a bet check bet. It may blow up in our face, but I don't think there's tons of ace-x in our opponent's range. I think something like a half pot or even a smaller bet will be kind of cool. We're really trying to rep a 5 heavily. And it did work, and we have the kind of nut low. Not quite, but one of the worst hands possible. 7BB, 7BB, 7 for 7. Jam it in. 8's not the hand we want to see, but we'll take a 7 or a spade. 7. We'll get in ace 10 though. Good luck, us. King 10's a good hand to be up against. So, a pre-flop giveth, and a pre-flop taketh away. Alright, fold 2-6. We're going to limp the Jack 7. Delby from Sky says, I think it's best I wait until an application is realistic, like I make enough to support myself. Sorry, I don't mean to be annoying, I'm not good at people. It's no problem at all, don't worry. Twitch is designed to just anyone ask questions away. So nothing to be ashamed about. You're doing fine. King Jack suited we'll go with. Good luck. Right into the ace, but we'll take a 10, a jack or a king, please. No. It was not what we needed. GG, that was 9 losses in a row. And we're moving down.